back to another exciting episode of the Endsville Twin Amphitheater. I bet you're all wondering what the hell we're going to talk about, what bullshit we're going to say next, but I'm going to let you know it's a movie that we just saw recently, and when I say recently, like an hour ago. It is
probably 15 minutes ago to be completely
honest. It is legit a movie that I didn't see coming. A movie that I think I didn't want, but I wanted so fucking bad. And it is produced by the man himself, J.J. Abrams, and it is called Overlord.
It's basically what you think it is if you've thought about it. Call of Duty Black Ops 1. Zombie mode has been made into the movie you've been waiting for.
It's legit it's it is one hell of a movie. It is pretty much Call of Duty Zombie storyline.
It's directed by Julius Avery. I'm not really familiar with any of his other work.
I do not know what he's done. Some of the actors they look familiar, but I haven't seen him in a lot of things.
That guy who played Waffner. That guy looks like what's his name?
Waffner?
Michael. What is?
Oh, the German asshole, or whatever. He looks like Michael Shannon.
I thought literally going into this movie, I was like, oh, it's Michael Shannon. I'm gonna go watch Michael Shannon for The Shape of Water. Fucking be the same character. Nope, I didn't get that. But hey, this guy was still pretty great. So why don't we just go straight into it? All right.
Okay. All right. So, what we first encountered after this exciting tale of me racing to the movie theater and fucking buying a ticket and sitting down in that theater and stuffing my face with nachos and popcorn.
Let's just say Century 16 has an exquisite amount of cheese on their nachos. There is not sold. Nobody has told you. I know that most people go to Alamo, okay, but this is the one time of the year you gotta think to yourself, damn, I just want some Rico cheese on those damn chips.
We know it's just 99-cent nacho cheese that they pull from the can.
Yeah, and they're overpricing the shit out of us,
exactly,
you know. But every time that worker literally puts the cheese on it, I can just tell, man, wow, they're giving everything they got in that damn can. You feel me? That shit's so tasty. Anyway, so the movie basically starts off. They're on a plane.
They're on. I don't know exactly what plane, but
they're on a plane basically going to Germany. No, actually, it's not even Germany. It's France. So they're on a plane going to France, and you get introduced to our main character himself, which is Boyce, which is our main character you first meet, as well as Wyatt. No, not Wyatt. Ford. I actually said the actor's name. Tibbet, Chase, and Dawson, I believe. You're getting introduced to all these guys as they're basically talking to each other, introducing.
It's really an interesting way how we get introduced, because who is the guy who has that Brooklyn accent?
That would be Tibbet.
Tibbet, I fucking hated him. In the beginning, he talks so much shit, hey, you ever seen Combat? Well, fuck you. This guy can't even kill a mouse.
Well, it's really, which is really interesting too, because the guy is just basically he really just portray a New York accent, chilling. And our main character, freaking Boyce, which at that time you're not really sure who's the main character. Boyce is who you're introduced to at first. So you're kind of all right, this guy's chill.
He has more of the screen time, and he's just kind of not really an oddball, but just laying back.
It's just really interesting because his surroundings are a bunch of people that are on edge, I guess, as you say. Because basically they're just a bunch of guys that are in the military.
Well, I the way I see it is they've just all seen war, I guess.
I think some of them are new to it and they don't know what to expect. You can definitely see that.
Yeah, that's probably true.
The only one that was really used to it was Ford, and that was because Ford had just come from Italy.
Yeah.
So when they had basically met Ford, he was already prepared for this kind of situation. But yeah, they're all introduced,
and there comes a sergeant.
Their sergeant comes to meet them.
He's just so fucking brutal.
He's just pretty straightforward about it all.
You're probably gonna die.
Yeah, your mission is to fucking go in there, take down the tower, which is basically explains what they're going for.
Yeah.
They just got to get down this tower, and as he's saying that, he's kind of explaining to them hey, everything's gonna be fine. Let's just get the mission done.
Yeah.
And as that's going on, they start getting closer to France, and that's when they realize, oh shit.
Yeah.
like there's a bunch of fucking shit outside.
Yeah, just anti-air just destroying.
Which is fucking crazy when you really see it. Like, you see missiles and fucking planes behind them blowing the fuck up.
Blowing up, and
I was like, damn, they're getting pretty lucky right here.
I was all like, oh my god, okay, they're gonna jump, and then all of a sudden, just fucking bullets start flying up from under the cockpit.
What's crazy is, like,
everybody.
The whole time, he's like, don't worry, let's just get a little bit closer so that we can jump out. The sergeant's telling all of them. And I can tell the look on Boyce's face. He's like, what the fuck are we going to do? This is a horrible idea.
At a certain point, he's just kind of like, he's just along for the ride, not really.
There's no ride in this.
In this
the roller coaster gone fucking wrong.
In this fucking tragedy of a scenario, he's just kind of, he's not a soldier. He's just a guy.
Yeah, but now I think that's really what they were trying to go for.
Yeah,
too,
that he's not.
He really didn't feel like a soldier. The rest of them kind of did.
Yeah,
because they understood what their mission was, which was really interesting too. Because as all this is going on, you get the plane behind them blowing up. Their plane starts going lower, and the pilot actually starts telling them, "Hey, we can't go that far. We're gonna have to go a little bit south."
He said he's gonna have to jump more south.
And the reason why is because they just couldn't. They didn't have enough time.
It was
so the plane starts going downwards, and they're getting kind of in a capacity where they can get out. And Boyce notices looking out at the window that the engine explodes.
Yeah, and like, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
And then the captain's like, "Hey, everybody, put their hook thing," which I didn't really understand that point.
It's like a whole military. It's, I think, maybe wrong, but
hold them onto the plane.
When you jump, your parachute's supposed to deploy.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah,
I was wondering why he
like,
didn't.
I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Because as soon as like, I think I've seen it a couple times. I may be completely wrong, but I think that's what it's for. But that didn't happen in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, the plane's back tail end fucking explodes.
Yeah, and
you seeing everybody like like flying backwards into it. I'm like, oh shit, dude, get moving.
There was at least 20 men on this plane.
About 20, yeah.
About 20. Only like 3.
And a bunch of them were jumping out. And at that point, I think my mind couldn't compute it. My mind was like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Dude? You're gonna jump out of this plane and get fucked up by a bunch of missiles and shit. Which is basically Boyce decides like, hey, dude, I am not fucking dying here. So as him and a bunch of his men, they all decide, you know what, we gotta jump the fuck out. And Boyce is like really nervous.
He's pretty shocked at it.
You can tell that he's new to it and he didn't really know how to comprehend it. So he gets to the outside and he looks at his sergeant and he's like, "Go, motherfucker, go!" The
sergeant just throws him out.
Him out the fucking plane. This dude's like, "Ah!" You seeing missiles, planes, bullets, everything you could think of. Fucking cow. He's trying to kill this motherfucker in the sky, but no, there was no cow. But he starts flying. He's like, "Ah!" Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Obviously, as Renee says, he does activate his parachute. So
yeah, he does deploy his parachute.
But I mean,
just in time
for like split seconds before he hits the damn water.
Actually, this sequence is pretty cool because it's like a shot on just him and like all this chaos going around him, which I thought was pretty cool. And he's like pretty much upside down the whole time trying to like fuck with his.
I thought it was really interesting too because he was underwater. He pulls out his knife and he cuts the rope. And then when he gets to the surface of the water, I've always thought about this too, is that when you have the parachute coming down on you, you can't really just get out of it. Yeah. So when he gets to the surface of the water, he's still underneath the parachute. Yeah, so his face is like stuck to the parachute.
Yeah, he like morphs around his face.
So he can't really breathe. So he has to cut through the parachute.
Luckily, he thought quick and had his knife and just demolish that parachute. But
yeah, so basically he cuts out the parachute, he gets to land, he's like, what the fuck? And he realizes,
and this is like worst case scenario, you're not by anybody, you're by yourself by a fucking river in enemy territory.
I don't even know if it was a river. I think it was the ocean.
It was
water.
It was a waterbed of some sort, and
it was a big body of fucking water.
And he goes on land, he's looking everywhere, there's like planes just getting destroyed in the sky. He looks around, like, people are dying, and then, like, he has a pistol, which is just, like, one of the scariest things. You're taking on an army with just, like, a pebble. Fully loaded army with just a pebble. Like, you have nothing.
It was really interesting, too, because he starts looking around. He's like, what the fuck's going on here? And then there's that I don't know who was shooting at him, but
I'm guessing
the German soldier starts shooting at him. He's like, "Oh shit!" So he starts to run off.
He runs the fuck away.
And as he runs away, he runs into seeing his sergeant. And he's like, "Oh shit! Let me go up to my sergeant."
This is pretty funny. The sergeant is all like, the sergeant was surrounded by German soldiers, and he's just like, He's just there, like, holding I don't even know what he was holding. He had nothing. He had nothing.
He was surrounded completely.
He's like, hey, man, y'all got a cigarette?
Yeah. They're all like, what the fuck?
They don't understand because they don't speak English.
So Boyce is like, you know what, man? I'm not going to fucking let him die. So he tries to go up to him, and he's got a shot. And he's about to take a shot, and that's where Ford shows up. Yeah,
Ford
grabs him, slams him to the ground, and says, "Shh,
chill the fuck out!
Shut the fuck up!
Shut the fuck up! Chill the fuck out!"
And he decides not to shoot, and then you just see Sargent just get completely annihilated, shot down to death.
He got fucked up.
And you really, I mean, at that point in time, Ford explains to him like, "Hey, you know, you couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
you would have just blown our cover. The mission is the sergeant. This mission is the tower.
Yeah, the tower,
which is true. I mean,
Ford's like man of his word. He's gonna get to this fucking tower.
Yeah, no matter what, the tower is basically the most important thing.
At this point, I didn't know how I felt about Ford as a character. Only because I felt like he was a little bit. I hate to say it, but a little bit forced.
Really?
Into being like that, yeah. Only because like when we were introduced to him, he's just looking out the window, like, oh, just another day in war, and not really like taking in the situation at all. He's just like, it's mostly just him there, and I don't know. It just felt like I didn't relate. It's not that I didn't relate to them. I just didn't know how I felt about him at the beginning, but I'll get to where I started to like him a little bit more.
Yeah, so basically they decide, like, hey, they're going to have to work together. So they're kind of covering each other, and that's when they hear something in the bushes, and that's when they find out they actually find the rest of their team, which is Tibbet, I believe Chase and Dawson. They're all together just chilling there.
Yeah, and this is where I started liking Tibbet. Because he started wisecracking like the fuck out of everybody.
he straight up tells Ford, too, that this is where you get kind of a communication because they all start talking to each other.
Yeah. And
he explains to Ford that some sort of mouse story about Boyce that basically he wouldn't even. So he basically it's really kind of dumb.
It's a dumb story.
Yeah, it's basically just about a mouse that is in their barracks or something. Huh?
Did it happen here at this certain point?
Yeah, that was the point where he explains to everybody. Yeah, and that's the reason why Boyce is like, whatever.
And he's like, whatever.
No. He doesn't tell him that at that point. You're right. Yeah. That's not at that right. That's not the point.
Like,
he just calls him names and shit, and just tells him like, this guy's fucking not gonna do anything.
Yeah, Tim is just an asshole to Boyce, pretty much. But it makes sense because like Tibbet knows what to expect, and then Boyce is just like, oh well, you know, I can't even harm a fly or whatever. He's that type of character. He doesn't
harm a fly.
He's the type of character.
He's really right.
He doesn't know why he's at war. He doesn't know. He doesn't know who he's fighting for.
I think he was justified in his mind. He was like. He was justified by the idea of saving people's lives. That's what he really was there for. Yeah. So basically, these guys all decide, you know what, we got to work together. We got to find this. Well, they already were on their mission, so they were going to work together regardless. But they ended up starting to walk on, and they keep going, and they start going towards the tower to see where they could find maybe the village to find the tower. And Ford uses his compass to kind of have an idea of where they're going to go. And as they're walking towards that place, I believe their character Dawson. Don't kill me if I'm wrong about this. But I'm pretty sure the character's name was Dawson. Dawson starts walking up to... they're walking all together, and Dawson explains to him, like, hey, I've been writing a book. Like, his book's going to be about all of his military stories. And then anyway, I was like, damn, dude, this guy's so nice. You know, what a nice book.
And Tibbet's like, oh, I didn't know Hicks write books.
He's all, damn, I didn't know you were smart enough to even fucking read a book.
Like, oh, shit.
So he's like walking, he's like, yeah, you know what? I want if you guys could ever write this book with me. And as soon as he takes a fucking step forward, it was like that episode of SpongeBob when he drops a fucking pie and the pie explodes. This son of a bitch blew up so fucking bad that Boyce couldn't hear shit for 3 minutes. This shit was horrific. I mean, horrific. Like, literally, this guy looks around and you could just tell, like, he was fucking blown to smithereens. He basically stepped on a mine.
Yeah, he stepped on a mine, blew the fuck up.
Horribly.
It was like probably bigger than what it should be, but it's fucking it's so fucked up.
So horrific too. So
Yeah.
he gets blown the hell up. Ford's like, damn it, everybody just walk in a line, use your
Yeah, this is where I started like Ford, because he took charge a little bit, and I kind of saw his like, how do I say, quick thinking.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
had
that's-
like a
that's-
quick thinking to him.
He had a quick response, as like a leader should.
Yeah.
He took a quick response to the situation. It's like, nobody fucking move, stay right
Nobody
there.
move a muscle.
Don't move a fucking muscle.
Fucking
He said,
Jurassic Park.
walk to me in a straight line like you're on a fucking tightrope and poke at the ground with your bayonet. And then,
Tippett makes that wiser remark. He's like, well, how hard do I hit? He was like, you'll fucking know how
you'll know
hard.
how hard you have to hit.
Like, fucking stupid.
Okay, so I'm starting to like each character. I already like the guy with the camera. I forgot his name.
I don't fucking remember his
he
name.
had a
I think his
camera.
name was Chase, but I'm not too sure.
Probably Chase, but Chase, I liked him. He had a camera, so I was like, cool. And then fucking Ford had.
Oh yeah, Ford when
Ford
he
grabbed his
camera.
goddamn camera.
He's
and
like,
threw
wow,
it
that's
in
a
the
really nice
forest.
camera. I'm surprised it survived the whole jumping out of the plane. He's like, yeah, dude, it's a really nice camera. He's like, yeah, you mind if I see that camera? He's like, oh yeah, sure, dude. He grabs the camera, throws it fucking far as he can. He's all, you're a big fucking flashlight, you stupid motherfucker. He doesn't say it that ferociously, but you could just tell, like,
He's
Chase
all
was
like, you got a big ass spotlight around your neck. Take it off.
yeah. So basically that.
So, along the way, they start traveling a little bit more, and they meet a person. Am I correct?
They beat Chloe at that point.
Chloe. Okay, they don't know who Chloe is. They're just traveling through the woods, and they see a girl walking about. That's what we're introduced as. She's just walking about, and then like, I don't know who calls at her. I think it was Tybalt, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He calls at her, and then he's like, hey, and then she's like, oh fuck, they startle her, so she runs the fuck away. I think she drops her bag, and he picks up his Tybalt picks up his bag, and then they find her, and then they're like, what do we do? Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm completely fucking this up, but they're just like, what do we do with her? And then she's like, I don't know, but we gotta catch her. And so like they go and run after her. I think she drops her shit. Tybalt picks up her shit, and then they go to her, and they end up catching her. I don't know who catches her.
Ford catches her. Ford grabs
catches
her and then puts his gun to her face, and he's like, "Look, like basically tell us where the
throws her up against a tree.
Are there Germans anywhere?" And she like spits on him.
No, like Tybalt comes up. He goes to her shit, and it's just a bunch of like knickknacks and like and like necklaces, and Tybalt's like, she's a scavenger, and he throws it back, and he's like Germans, and then she spits on the ground, and he's like, oh, okay, cool. She's just like, I wouldn't say refugee.
Yeah, she basically was just trying to find like food and stuff for her family.
Yeah, she's a scavenger, and she's just like, okay, is this your village? Ford asked her, is this your village? And apparently, Boyce knows.
Yeah, Boyce knows
German.
No, he knows French.
Is it French?
Yeah, she's not German. She's French.
Oh, okay. He knows French.
Yeah, he knows French. So he
Okay.
starts talking to her, and she's like talking to him.
Okay.
And he's like basically like, hey, look, do you know if there's Germans there? And she communicates back to him. She trusts him, and then kind of not really trusts him, but she could explain where they're at. So they take her to take them to the tower.
She leads him to like her village, which is by the place that they're supposed to be, by the tower that they're supposed to be. So
yeah, so she basically takes him to her home. And, well, yeah, basically she ends up taking him to her home. When they first get there, it's kind of shady. But then you find out, like, she actually does speak English, and she just needed to know if she could trust them.
Yeah, so what happens is that they go, and then the whole group goes to them, and then she's just like, well, my house is right here. After traveling through the forest and whatever, they go to the village, and like, well, my house is right here. He's like,
That's when you're introduced to her little brother and her aunt, which strangely enough, you're kind of like, the fuck is that?
yeah,
she's making like the weirdest of noises. You're just like, what the fuck is that?
yeah, the aunt's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, when I was hearing the end, I was like, damn, what the fuck was that?
Did she scare you?
No, I was just like, either she's fucking sick or she's a fucking zombie. And I was like, this whole time, I'm like, this is Black Ops 1. This motherfucker's gonna break open the damn door, just come at you. But no, it wasn't like that. It didn't end up that way. She's basically, Chloe basically explains to everybody she's sick. Yeah. And Ford's like really sketchy about it. He's like, are you sure she's not gonna affect us in any way? And Chloe's like, no, she's sick. So they all go up to the top roof and they're kind of like explaining what they're gonna do and what their plan is. And he ends up sending Tibbet and Chase, if I'm correct, on a mission to the tower to find out the entry points where they can basically implant the bombs to the tower. Is that correct? You're right.
I think so. I may be wrong. I don't know if it was Tibbet.
Yeah, it was Tibbet for sure.
Was it Tibbet?
Yeah, it was Tibbet and Chase.
Tibbet and I think it was. I don't think they went to the tower.
Yeah, they were going over there.
Was it the tower? Or the
no,
bridge?
they were going to the bridge.
There you go. It was the bridge.
They're going to the bridge, and while that was happening, Chloe, Boyce,
and Ford
were all just chilling there at the place, kind of like deciding like, hey, what we're gonna do. And because of that, we get introduced to Waffner, who basically
oh god, this despicable motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's a perfect antagonist to a film.
Look, I thought he was fucking, what's his name, Mike Shannon, right?
He's not Michael Shannon.
I thought he was Michael Shannon. When I saw him in the movie, I was like, damn, Michael Shannon getting kind of some weight. Looks a little bit off right now.
I was like, is that fucking Michael Shannon? But no, this guy is some Danish.
They wanted it to be Michael Shannon.
What's his name? What's the actor's name?
His name is Pulo Asbeck.
He's Danish or some shit.
I don't know.
He's fucking whatever. He's in a bunch of Danish things. But anyways, this guy comes into poor Chloe's house and it just walks in, does usual checkups, and it's just like, something's odd. And then she's like, Chloe's like, what? Little does he know that
Boyce
and Boyce are looking at him through the floorboards, straight down on him. 2 Americans, a fucking Nazi like high-ranking officer.
Yeah.
In the same house.
Basically, yeah.
So he starts getting a little bit skeptical, and he's just like, oh, I'm hearing noises up there. He's like, what is that? And he's like, oh, my little brother sleeps up there. He's like, little brother sleeps in the attic? And she's like, yeah. And then the fucking little boy like throws a baseball or whatever. The baseball hits like the floor, and he's just like, what the fuck is that? And then she's like, don't go up there. And then like he's like, oh. And then he's like, he snaps his fingers, and then his boys come in, and they're just like, go check the attic. And they go and check the attic, and the little boy is just like, they're like, oh no, I'm just kidding, just playing. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that fucking soldier just looks at the ball, and he's like, spits on. Who the fuck spits on a baseball? Like, you don't even. I don't.
And
even.
It was such disgusting spit.
Who the fuck would spit on a fucking baseball and then throw it back at the kid? And then the sad thing is, the kid caught the baseball. Like you knew that spit was all over that fucking, and he caught it not even with his hands. He caught it with his fucking shoulders, so it got all over his fucking arm.
Yeah,
I was like,
over like his whole body.
I was like, damn, that's fucked up, dude.
But like, as that's going on, Ford and Boyce are like with fucking Thompson, just staring straight at the stairs, waiting for them to come up, which I thought was cool. So that situation debunks. They go out, and then he's just like, what's his name? What's the character? Waffner looks at Chloe, just like, you're looking pretty hot tonight.
Yeah, he basically explains to her, he's like, look, I think your little brother needs to be checked out, because I don't think you want him to end up like your aunt. Which, by the way, we didn't explain to this. When Boyce does go to meet his, because he finds it really strange, those noises. Yeah. As anybody who would sit in that damn theater.
I think he was gonna go like patrol the bottom area or the bottom half of the house as like Tibbet and Chase go check out whatever they needed to check out. And as he's doing that, he stumbles upon the aunt, and the aunt is fucked up. I mean, she was
disgusting.
It looks like she had black tumors all over her face and head, she had no hair. She was
the Fly.
oh,
The Fly.
My God.
Jeff Goldblum had been revived.
She didn't even look human. It was disgusting.
It was horrific.
And like she popped out of nowhere. She's like, "Hey!" And then gross. I got startled a little bit in the theater. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I got started out, and that's because I was eating a shitload of popcorn. So like, I was like, "Oh fuck, heartburn!" Like
so. That happens.
So yeah, basically that's explained. So that Waffner basically explains to her like, "Hey, if you don't basically have sex with me," which he's implying,
yeah,
I'm going to take your brother and probably do the same things, these weird experiments that we're doing to your little brother. So
to your aunt, the same experience that
he did to your aunt to your little brother, and she was like basically like, you know what? Okay, you can stay. And so all the soldiers go outside, and
they're like, "Oh, good luck."
Yeah, Waffner starts getting all in a sexual mood. It's really horrific.
Yeah,
and Boyce, the thing is about Boyce is that he is so innocent to the point that he thought to himself like, "I can't stand to let somebody just get raped like this and not do it." And Ford's like explaining to him like, "Hey, this is not the mission. We came here for the tower, not to save some girl from this situation." And he was like, "No, I can't stand for this." So Boyce runs off, grabs his gun, puts it to the back of Waffner, and it basically says, "Don't fucking move, motherfucker."
And so what happens here is that Ford takes this as an opportunity.
Yeah, Ford takes this as an opportunity to find out information on where the tower is, so he just starts beating the shit out of Waffner.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's what's so fucking cool. I thought it was fucking cool that nobody probably even noticed. But like, they get like kind of in a little argument because he's telling him like, "Hey, where the fuck's all the information?" And Waffner's like, "Look, eventually she's not gonna be fucking cool, and y'all are gonna get fucked up." And Ford's like, "Okay," fucking headbutts the shit out of him. Motherfucker drops to the ground, knocks out cold, and Ford just walks away like, "Yeah, bro, I fucking." You know that a headbutt is as much damage that you input into someone, you get the exact same amount of damage back to yourself. That should have knocked his ass out so fucking hard. If he would have been knocked out by a headbutt, that would mean his skull must have been fucking fractured. That shit was extreme. That's what I was thinking. I was like, "Damn, what a fucking headbutt."
Ford gets a really thick skull.
So Ford basically tells him like, "Hey, because of that, we're gonna need you, basically, boys, to go check." Like this, because they don't have much time now.
Yeah.
Because he compromised the mission, and now instead of having like days to do this, now they have till the morning before they come looking for Waffner.
Yeah. Because apparently Waffner's gonna be fucking this girl.
But... Yeah, Waffner's gonna be fucking this girl, so nobody's gonna interrupt him during that time period. So as they all go, actually Boyce only goes. He goes into the tower to find the rest of them, so he can find out basically information on what's the best outside route for the tower.
Yeah.
And as he's doing that, he goes in there and he starts looking around. He starts seeing some freaky shit.
Before that, he gets in there by kind of coincidence?
Actually, yeah, he gets in there kind of coincidence because when he goes up there, he's just kind of investigating.
Yeah.
And he sees that there's like a dog, and this fucking dog is vicious as shit.
It's a black German Shepherd.
Very strange dog, too. It just starts coming at him full speed. He panics.
Yeah, we really didn't see dogs in this movie, but they're there, and it's a black German Shepherd. And
he also sees like a group of people that were like look like dead bodies. It looks like kind of like his aunt. He saw them being burnt to shreds, basically, and that's how he can counter the dog because he got so close, and he was confused why they were burning them to shreds.
Yeah. And then, so what happens is that he outruns the dog, and he jumps into this truck that's just coincidentally driving to the place that he needs to go. He jumps in the back and it's a bunch of dead bodies.
Yeah, a bunch of fucking dead bodies. Bullet holes the size of like...
I think I know what happens, but I'll get to that later. What they're doing with the dead bodies. So, all of them drive into the compound or whatever, the tower that they're supposed to be at. So, Boyce is in the tower, and he
finds his way out of that car.
He finds his way out of the car. I think he just jumps out. It just jumps out at like the right time. Two Nazi soldiers are
taking all the dead bodies away.
And he's like, okay, whatever. So he sneaks into the
lab.
To the lab, and he starts looking around and seeing some fucking creepy
some shit I've never seen before. It was fucking horrific.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, like.
So he sees like these weird. Best way to explain it. He sees like this the sack. and this person's inside of it full of fucking juice and blood.
It's like black juice and like a
And
bottom of it is just
and he's
like,
such a good person that he notices the person's like struggling in there.
Yeah.
So he like unzips it a little bit, and the person's head comes out, and he like, help me, help me.
I think it's in German or French, and he's just like, please help me or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's in French because he could understand him, and he's like, what the fuck? So he runs out.
Yeah, he just gets scared and runs away.
But this one really fucked me up. So he's like walking around like, what the fuck's going on here? He's confused. He walks up to this girl, and he hears this girl speaking like, blah, 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 like talking and talking. And I was kind of like, what the fuck is that? So he takes off this fucking...
like cloth.
This cloth. And you just see this spine.
Ugh.
No fucking body. Just a spine and a head. And her head's like full of fucking veins. And she's just like speaking. It was horrific. One of the most gruesome things I've ever seen.
That's going to be embedded in my brain.
When I saw that, I looked at Renee. Renee looked at me. I fucking dropped the popcorn.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I knew I couldn't eat any more fucking popcorn at that point.
He's like, alright, I'm done with this.
So I was like, holy shit, like, what the fuck is happening in here? And you get shown like another guy, and he keeps walking forward, and he finds like this little port where you could basically look inside their little eye holes, where you can look inside and see what's in there. Yeah, and there's a guy in there like, help me,
like banging his head.
And then he notices like the scientists are coming, so he goes in there, sits down, and they do something to the guy. And when he looks back in there, he can't see anything. And then he sees a fucking fucked up eyeball in there just looking at him, and he's like, what the fuck was that? Like freaked out, like what really was that? So he's like walking around like, what the fuck? So I believe he just keeps walking around, eventually to where he finds a point where he sees one of his friends from the plane. Yeah, from the plane itself. And this
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I'm not. It's really too sure.
Gross, like
I think his name is Rosenfeld.
Is it Rosenfeld?
Yeah, I think it's Rosenfeld.
Rosenfield, or however.
Yeah, Rosenfeld. I believe is his
name.
And
he is disgustingly like tied up to this table.
Yeah,
with like tubes running in his
What's
body.
really fucking crazy is I thought, okay, so it's like a big fucking, like, you ever get in your car fucking vacuumed? And that big vacuum? Imagine that shit. Put it on with a big fucking plate of some sort.
Yeah.
And then put a needle inside of it. And that's what they shoved into his skin.
It's just gross. Okay, while that's happening, why he's tied up like that, I think the official, like, Nazi scientist comes out and is going to test his serum on, like, a dead body.
Yeah, and he tests the serum on the dead body.
So this is what I was getting to, what they were, I guess, doing with the dead bodies. I'm guessing they were dead people, dead civilians of some sort, or maybe even dead soldiers, that they all round up, they kill or whatever, they round up, and then they come to this place underground and they do experiments on them. And with this new serum, which we see looks like it's raising people from the dead. That's all we can see. Nothing else at this point. We just see we just see someone come back to life. And that's what happens when Boyce notices it. This is the first time Boyce sees it for the first hand, and like this dead person just like tied up to the bed.
Yeah, you hear like his neck snap.
Yeah,
his head turns real quick.
Gruesome. And then they walk away for some reason, and then he ends up like getting his friend out in time for takes that big ass vacuum needle out thingy, and they both start getting out of there. He gives his friend a gun, a little pistol. I don't know what exact pistol it is. Looks like a 1911. Gives him a pistol. They run away, and like he's dead. He's all like, and then he looks around, and then he finds a way. He finds this like weird like tunnel place around a bunch of furnace or.
Yeah, he finds basically like a little gate, and he like smashes the gate with his feet, which is pretty impressive when you think about it.
He just smashes.
I would have done that kind of shit. My foot would have been broken as fuck.
He's smashing his gate while his friend, who is half naked with a pistol and a big ass wound in his side, is covering him. That's a bad situation.
Horrible situation, but hey,
Yeah.
so they basically get out.
They do get out. They get out
escape.
through some tunnel or sewer of some sort.
Yeah, they escape through basically like a little sewer. They escape, and then they go back to the house. And as they go back to the house, you see Ford and basically...
Tybalt. Was it Tybalt?
No, it was Ford. Ford and... Tybalt and Chase,
Yeah.
they ended up going back to meet
they
up
go
with them,
because
too.
they never found whatever.
Yeah, they never could find they never could find Boyce up there either.
Yeah.
So they were all like, where the fuck did he go anyway?
Yeah, so they came back, and then it just...
Wafner's been tied to like a corner, too.
Yeah.
And Boyce shows up, and he's like, hey, I saw a bunch of fucking creepy shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, no, I don't know. There's some really, really crazy shit. He shows them that he has Rosenfeld and he saved his life.
Yeah.
And Ford's like trying to tell him, like, hey, shut the fuck up.
Calm the fuck down.
This is not important. I need to know, did you find out about the tower?
Yeah.
And then Boyce was like, there's a way to do it from inside. And he's like, what the fuck do you mean inside? We're not going to risk going inside. Is there a way to do it from the outside? And he was like, no, it's best to do it from the inside. And he was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And at that point, he shows him, like, I guess, the serum. He was like...
Yeah, he pocketed a serum, and he looks at it, he's like, what the fuck is this? He's like, this is what I found in that fucked up lag. I seen some fucked up shit, and like, this is what I found. And Ford's like, I don't know what that is. So
they basically start interrogating freaking Wafner.
Wafner sounds awfully close to Westerner. Anyways, they go to Wafner, and Ford's like, you're gonna tell me everything about your soldiers, your men, and what the fuck is going on in there. Wafner obviously is like, eat shit, and then fucking
so like
Ford
Tibbet
starts beating the shit out.
So
of him.
Tibbet and Chase, he tells them basically, get up, tie him up, and then Boyce is like, what are you all doing? And he was like, if they're the enemy, we gotta treat them like they're the enemy.
Yeah.
And then Boyce is like, we're not gonna treat them the same way. We're not the same as them. And he's like, just get away. So he just starts beating the fuck out of him.
Yeah, he really does.
And he goes, I'm gonna win. And I don't really know what that necessarily meant, but he just starts beating the fucking... grabs some bronze knuckles, fucks his face up.
Yeah, fucking him up, really. And then after a while, Boyce just kind of has enough of it. And
Boyce tries to grab him, and then Ford's like, what the fuck are you doing?
He's like, get the fuck away from me.
Punches the shit out of him. Dude, this dude's got some fucking heavy hands.
Yeah, Ford's a tough motherfucker.
He punches the shit out of him. He hits the ground. He's like, Tibbet's like, get the fuck out of here, man. So he gets the fuck out of there. He beats the shit out of Wafner enough to where he has kind of enough information to kind of figure out, like, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Kind of piecing things together.
Yeah. So they have an idea of what they're going to do. They're going to go in there, and they're going to figure out what exactly they want to do. But at this point, the sun's coming up. They have a plan where they're going to take him, and they're going to use him as, like, I guess some sort of leverage against the soldiers. And at that point, Chase goes in there to get him.
Yeah, Chase was going to go run.
Chase is like, hey, man, let's go.
And they picked the worst person for the job.
Yeah, worst fucking... The photographer who was taking pictures of him.
Yeah.
Even when he was on the ground. Like, this guy had no fucking clue. But I think that he couldn't... If you think about it, though, if you picked Tibbet would have done it. But I think he needed Tibbet with him for defense.
Yeah.
And if Boyce had done it, Boyce would have maybe made the same mistake.
Yeah.
So
Chase
Chase was probably unfortunately the only option.
Yeah. So fucking
Poor
Chase.
Poor Chase.
This is a really fucking bad spot for Chase. And this is a really bad scene. What happens to Chase? Anyways.
So Chase basically grabs him and he's like, "Hey man, let's get going." And Wafner doesn't respond.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, Chase is like, guys, I don't think he's all right. And he unties him, puts him to the ground like a fucking schmuck, leaves him on the ground, looks at him, he's like, "Hey, are you awake? Hey, dude, are you okay?" He's like, "Wow, I think he's dead." And at that point, Wafner just fucking gets up, kicks the fuck out of him, grabs his own gun. Chase is pathetic. He goes, "Help me, help me!" Wafner, 2 fucking bullets in the chest. Everybody shows up. Boyce shows up, beats the shit out of him. Ford shows up.
Oh yeah, Tibbet kicks Wafner in the face.
Yeah, Tibbet kicks, straight up fucking in the... Oh yeah, he does kick the fuck out of him in the face.
And then Chase just has 2 bullets in his chest, like, "Oh, I'm dying. And then they all come to her. Ford's like, "You're gonna be fine, you're gonna be fine." Then he just bleeds out like
he bleeds. He's all,
horrible,
am I gonna be okay? And then like Boy's like, yeah, you're gonna be okay. And he looks at Chloe. Chloe's like, nah, dude,
this
dude's so fucking. It's straight in the middle of his chest, dude.
Yeah,
you can see the blood just.
It's one bullet.
And they're like using a small cloth to try to stop the blood, but that's not gonna fucking work. But basically he bleeds out. He's dead. Everybody's saddened. Boyce could not believe it. He understands. He couldn't take it. He looks at the serum that Ford had left there, and he decides, fuck it. So he grabs that fucking serum. He shoves it into his chest, squeezes the whole fucking tube, fucking leaves him, pulls it out. They're like, what the fuck have you done? Ford's like, he's dead.
He's dead. What are you doing?
Well, he's dead. Just leave him alone. And at that point, like, Ford's like, you know what? You're fucking probably right. I just can't. I really can't fucking do this. And they're all like basically getting Waffner up to start taking him away. And at that point, he looks at him, and fucking Chase just wakes up like the fucking Undertaker, and looks around, and he's like, guys, he breathes really, really hard, which I thought was really like, what the fuck? He's breathing really hard? And he seems like he's perfectly fine. He's just really, really thirsty. So they gave him like a complete, like I guess like a jug of water, I'm guessing, right? And they give him like a jug of water, and he just starts drinking it. And he's drinking it like ferociously, like he's really, really, really thirsty. I was like, what the fuck? This guy's thirsty now too?
Yeah.
And he drinks the water, and he's like, man, guys, I was just really, really thirsty. And he grabs like the tin can, and he squeezes it like it's a fucking gelatin. And at that exact point, I was like, fuck, the popcorn went through me, so I ran out the theater for a second. At this point, the only man who could have known what happened in that theater was Renee right here.
So, what happens is that Waffner looks at Ford, and he says, you wanted to know what that serum does to people? And Chase is just like, man, I don't feel so good. So he gets up, he's like, fuck, and then like he rips off like his jacket, and then he's into like this tank top, and you can see like veins popping out of his arms. It's really gross, and it's like popping up to his like shoulder, and then his neck, then obviously to his face, and he's just like, man, oh man, I don't feel so good. And they're just like, what? And he's like, man, I don't feel so good. So what he does is walks over to the pillar of the house, and he just smashes it, breaks it in two, he smashes his head against it and breaks it into two. And he's fucking like, oh my god. And he's just like, and they're just like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, man. And like he whips his head back. And this is fucking gross. He whips his head back so hard because he doesn't know the power of his own strength, that his neck actually breaks, and like you can see like his collarbone sticking up, not out of his skin, or like one sticking out of his skin, but his collarbone sticking up. And then he whips his head back forward, and like his head is inside his torso. It is really fucking gross. And then he's just like, oh my god, what is going on? And then he just like looks around, and he sees Boyce and grabs Boyce by the neck, and he's just like, what did you do to me? What did you do to me? And then like at this point, Ford fucking shoots the fuck out of him, lights him up with his Thompson, and he falls to the ground, and he's just like, that's fucked up. He's just like, I just can't believe what I saw. And
that's where Waffner basically explains. This is at this point I have returned, and Waffner explains to him like, they're not just any soldier. They're basically like the ultimate soldier.
Yeah, so this is where we discovered.
And Chase gets the fuck up like he got hit by a baseball bat, but it no longer was a baseball bat. It was a fucking pillow or something, because it did nothing to him.
That full-on magazine that just got unloaded into his chest did nothing.
He gets up, and then everybody's like, oh shit. And he starts going towards him, and Boyce is like, fuck this. I'm tired of not fucking doing anything. Grabs his gun, hits him over the head with it, boom. Then fucking Chase hits the ground. Boyce just goes at it. This was pretty brutal.
Yeah,
pretty fucking brutal. Just to his head, smashes into fucking pieces. Yeah. To the point where Ford goes up to him and he's like, hey man, that wasn't him anymore. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Like he even looked at him and said like, oh fuck, you fucked his head up.
Chase up.
I don't know if that was that you needed that much, but he smashed his head into nothing.
Yeah,
There was
pretty
just
much.
fucking guts left.
Yeah, just nothing. So we see that
And then
happens.
during all this time that's happening, because of all the confusion, Waffner escapes, grabs her little brother who's underneath the stairs, grabs him, tries to run away. Ford's like, "What the fuck are we doing?"
Yeah.
So he gets his gun and he tries to go shoot him, and then he holds his little brother, Chloe's little brother, up in the air, looks at him. He's like, "I am not Michael Shannon." And I'm like, "Fuck you! You look like him, motherfucker." He escapes.
God damn it.
He escapes the fucking house. He's like, puts the kid in there. He's like, "Hey, we're all okay." Everybody starts shooting.
Yeah, well, at this time, his army's coming back. His posse's coming back.
To pick him up, because it's the morning.
Yeah, it's finally the morning, so his posse is here. They're just like, we're going to take you away, whatever. And then he comes out running in the house with the kid. They're like, what? A kid? And then fucking Ford chases after him. He sees like Nazi soldiers, so he fucking shoots like sprays.
This is actually really crazy too, because he's shooting everybody and he's killing a lot of people, and he actually shoots Waffner in the fucking face.
Yeah, out of this gun battle, we see Waffner get fucked up in the face.
Fucking destroyed. His face is fucking completely fucked up. I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
He falls inside of the carriage.
I legit thought
the
he
car.
was dead.
They drive away. I'm like, wow, he killed him, but the kid is safe, I guess.
Yeah.
With them, so they can just get the kid back.
So
you find out that basically Waffner isn't dead.
yeah, so we'll get to that. But now on top of them having to blow up the tower, they have a second objective, and that's to save the kid.
Which Ford is like completely like, no, we're not doing that.
Ford is
This
completely
is not the
against
mission.
it.
And Boyce is like, fuck the mission, man. We're not here just for this. It's not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
The right thing to do is to save this kid too. We can't do this. We can
Yeah.
do both. It's not impossible. He's like, we're going to do it outside. And he's like, look, man. And at this point, Tibbetts found a lot of respect for him because he never thought he could kill anybody.
Yeah.
But at this point, he realizes like, hey, Boyce is just trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And if the right thing is to save not only a kid, but to do both things, it's possible. You just got to do it the right way.
Yeah.
So he basically decides, like, hey, we got to do this.
Yeah.
And Tibbetts like, you know what, man? The kid liked that I didn't know how to play baseball, but I'll still do it. And Ford was like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll do it.
Yeah, Ford eventually gives into it. So Ford comes up with a plan, pretty smart plan. That's why I like Ford. He comes up with a plan that Tibbet and who was the other guy that he has saved from Rosenfeld are going to cause a diversion for them so they can all sneak in and do their shit. And it's a pretty good diversion. I would have to say so myself. And I found out right here that Tibbet's a fucking great shot. Tibbet's like this fucking...
But before they actually go into the tower, this is where we actually find out about, what's his name? Waffner. So Waffner, we find out he survives, and he gives the kid to the scientist. And
he's just like, do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. He goes in there, grabs the fucking serum. This dude stabs it into his leg. The scientist is like, no, it's never been done on a living being.
The serum's too unstable, and he's just like...
He's like, you know what? Fuck you. Grabs the other serum, puts it in his other leg. Boom. He's like fucking hulking up.
And then he turns to the camera. You can see like half his face is demolished.
Completely fucking gone.
It's so gruesome. Like, you can see where the bullets had entered the like left side of his cheek, and like it's concave, like it's almost stretched back, and you can see like his teeth are... his molars are cracked, and like just half his face is like has a giant cut over it. It's gruesome.
Yeah, it was horrific.
Gross.
But he was now a fucking beast, man. His voice changed.
Yeah, he just went,
yeah. He fucking hulking up, man. I was like, oh shit, here we go. The fucking Incredible Hulk.
I think he legit said that in the theater. It was like, wow, the Incredible Hulk.
Oh,
I never knew I wanted that. Anyways.
So while this is all happening, they've decided to go out with their plan. Tibbet and Rosenfeld, they decided that, you know what, we're going to go on with our plan. So they start just shooting up that fucking place to
Yeah.
open the doors so that Boyce and Ford can get in.
Yeah,
With Chloe, actually.
What happens is that they are going to cause a diversion. The way this diversion is going to play out is that they're going to get Chloe to lure, Nazi soldier, lure him away,
Which is fucking awesome, actually.
which is really awesome if you think about it. So what she does is she goes at her house and they're like, "Hey, that's that girl," and then she turns the corner, starts running. He's like, "Oh, she's mine," and she starts chasing after her.
Which, by the way, they fucking kill her aunt at that point.
Yeah, they're just like, "Oh, I'll chase her. You kill her aunt."
Yeah.
It was just fucked up.
Fucked up.
It was
You would
fucked
hear
up.
bullets, boom, boom, boom. She's dead.
Poor woman.
I thought she was gonna fight back, turn into a fucking beast woman.
I legit thought that too.
But that didn't happen at all. She
that
just
didn't
got fucking
happen.
quick death.
You legit you didn't even.
I
see
snapped. My fingers snapped faster than her fucking. She might have beaten my
All
fingers.
you saw was the gunshot. All you heard was the gunshot, and then the light from the 2-story window. And Chloe ran off. She has nowhere in, so whatever.
She runs off. That guy shows up. He fucking tackles her. He pulls up out of his bike. He tackles her to the ground. And he's gonna try to looks like he's gonna rape her.
Yeah.
And that's when you realize Boyce and Ford actually had a genius fucking plan.
Yeah. So they hit that guy.
It's really fucking cool too.
Yeah, it's a really genius plan. So what happens is, they get this guy.
Basically,
So let me explain it this way. After this scene happens, another scene comes where the same guy we see is driving on his motorcycle to the compound.
Yeah.
I like to say, of the tower, and they drive away. And once he gets closer, you see that he's tied, his hands are tied to the handlebars, and he has duct tape over his mouth. And at this point, you're thinking what the hell is gonna happen? And then all the officers surrounding him. He's like, no, don't get me. He's like, no. And the officer's like, what the fuck? Let me untie you. So they start untying him. They're just he's like, no. And he's like, no. And then once they rip the tape off, the pin to a grenade that was shoved in his mouth has come off.
Yeah, which is really fucking cool.
And they pull open on the sidecar, because this motorcycle has a sidecar. They pull over covers, and it's fucking dynamites that is about to explode. So what the fuck happens is that the grenade goes off in his mouth, destroys half his body. We see half his body get
blown to smither fucking rings.
Literally a second later.
And they use it's crazy too, because you see all these fucking guys on the floor fucked up from the explosion.
Yeah, and then the fucking sidecar explodes. A giant fucking explosion happens.
Kind of excessive, but
it's fucking awesome. Is what it is.
You see a guy missing a leg. He's like, "Oh, help me! My leg!" Like it's SpongeBob.
And to add how do you say, insult to injury, Tibble and Rosenfeld are on the fucking side of the hill mowing motherfuckers down.
They're on the ground fucking suffering.
Some fucking I don't know what the gun's called, but it's like a machine gun just mowing motherfuckers down.
I think the other one has a rifle or a sniper, because he's taking shots.
I forgot what it's called, but it's
Not an M4. No, M14 didn't exist at the time.
no, an M14 is.
I don't know my fucking guys.
M14 is a regular rifle. This is like a machine gun, almost like the M249. I'm completely butchering guns, but anyways, he has a machine gun, just mowing motherfuckers down, and then Tybalt's they're sniping fools perfectly, headshotting after headshot, reload, headshot. But the wrong drawback is that Tibble and Rosenfeld are only two guys, and they're taking on
taking on basically the fucking whole army.
The whole army. And so Tibble reloads, he's cover me, I'm reloading. So he tries to reload, and then as Tibble comes up, the guy's like, I'm reloading. So he's just like, come on, reload fast. He's like, this is supposed to be a 2-person gun. So he finally reloads, and they start killing people, and then they run out. They're like, fuck, and then they fall back.
Yeah, they basically fall back and they run away. And at that point, you
And
notice
at that point,
Boyce, Ford and Chloe have gotten into the tower itself.
They got into the base. They're in there. This is the first time Ford's in here, and Chloe, and they're just like, Boyce is like, come on, we'll go this way, and then Chloe's like, no, I gotta find my brother, and then she runs off. She just runs.
She runs off, finds two soldiers real quick. She threatens them like, hey, where's my brother? And as I thought to myself, I thought that
this was like one of my favorite scenes, actually.
Yeah, because of what that guy says.
No,
what that guy says makes me laugh pretty fucking hard.
Let me explain. Let me break it down, kind of. Once she encounters these two soldiers, you can see very different personalities in these soldiers. One on the left side, actually the right side of the screen, was very, very, very stern. His whole posture came off as stern, and his friend next to him was cowering like a little bitch and just like not even looking at him. And the person who responded was the guy who looked really stern and strict. So Chloe had took advantage of the guy who looked like a little bitch. She shot the guy who looked stern because she knew she wasn't going to get anything out of him. So she shot him in the head. And she fucking died. The guy who was like scared and shit.
Which I thought was really good too, because I thought it was really funny. Because when she tells him like, "Hey, where's my brother at?" And I thought to myself, like, that's exactly what I would have been if I was at that situation. I'd be like, "How the fuck am I supposed to know? What the fuck do you expect? How the fuck would I?" And she's like, "Shut the fuck up!" And she blew his fucking brains out. And I don't think they really. That's the thing I thought was so funny because they really didn't fucking know where her brother was.
Yeah, they really didn't. This guy who he's just doing what she said and take me to my brother. He's like, I don't fucking know your brother.
How would you know who that is?
So
yeah, she ends up taking him. She takes him up to this. He ends up taking her. Yeah. Up to like this door, and he opens the door up, and she notices it's like just a body on the ground.
Yeah, she's despicable body.
And she looks and she's like, what the fuck? And this guy has played her, pulls out his gun, he's about to shoot her, and fucking Boyce comes out of nowhere, hits the fuck out of him with the gun, knocks his ass out. She's like, what the fuck? He's all, that's not where your brother is. Come on, this way.
And so he takes him away. At this point, we see the body on the ground get pulled into that goddamn door.
I was like, oh no.
Oh shit.
What the fuck? And all you see is this fucking despicable looking fuck. Just come out of there, necks twitching. Fucking, he's looking around, eyeball big as shit. I was like, oh, what the fuck is that thing? So it's weird as shit. Yeah, he comes out. So they're basically like gonna go together to go look for her brother.
Yeah.
And they end up actually finding her brother, if I'm correct, right? They look around.
He was on the table.
Yeah,
he was tied up to the table, and they grab him up real quick.
Yeah, they grab him up, they pull him out off the table, they untie him, and then he tells her like, "Hey, you all need to get out of here."
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, he's like, the escape route. This is where Boyce and Chloe split up.
Yeah.
So Boyce is gonna go off, and then Chloe and her little brother are gonna get the fuck out of the tower. In this part, Chloe's just like, you can come with us. Fuck everything, you can come with us. And Boyce is like, no, this is my mission now. I gotta do this. And she's like, okay, whatever, fuck you. But, but no, she didn't say that. But like, she was like, oh, okay, fine. So Boyce goes off, and then Chloe goes off in a different direction. They exactly split up. And then like a really like fast person moves across the screen from what we see behind Boyce.
Yeah, Boyce is like, what the fuck was that?
And then it was kind of creepy. So what happens is that like they go through that tunnel the same way Boyce escaped.
Chloe's trying to take her little brother out of there. She just basically decides, you know what, I'll take that same tunnel that he did, which works out just fine. Her little brother's takes him out there.
So she opens it up. The little boy goes in.
She's like, all right, let's get out of here. Fucking big fucking arm comes out of her, grabs her, throws her across the fucking room. She's like, boom, hits the wall. He's like, I was like, what the fuck is this damn thing? What is going on here?
She's all like, run away, telling her little brother run away. Her little brother runs away.
And this thing just runs up to her super speed, fucking grabs her neck, slams her onto the wall. She's like grabbing his face, like, get the fuck away from me. He's all like, I was like, what the fuck is happening here?
And
this guy's a beast.
And you can see that he has no hand, but just like a fucking bone.
Yeah, just a big fuck. And he punches the wall, breaks the fucking brick with the wall. I was like, oh shit. Like, this lady has no chance.
Yeah.
He gets close enough, he's all like trying to speak to her or like kiss her. I don't know what he was trying to do.
I don't know what he was trying to do, but
she grabs her pistol, blows his fucking brain up. Boom, boom, boom. 3 shots to his brain. Blah, blah, blah. He hits the fucking ground. Boom. He hits the ground. I'm like, damn, you did it. Just like that other guy did. She beat the shit out of him. He beat him the fuck out with a gun. You put 3 bullets in his brain. He's done. She gets up. She's like, walks away in so much fucking shock. She's like, and like she looks back, and that dude just gets up, looks at her. He's like, and he runs straight. He's not gonna fucking die. So she runs. She's like, oh shit. She starts running real fucking hard.
Yeah, she fucking runs the fuck out of there.
Yeah, she tries to run the hell out of there, and she's like, damn, I don't know where the fuck to go. But on her way running out of there, she realizes she finds like a fucking a flamethrower.
One of the coolest things in this movie, a fucking flamethrower. The same flamethrower that was used to extinguish those failed test experiments, as you would say, that Boy saw earlier before he got freaked out, everything. So she finds that flamethrower, she gets it, she looks at that motherfucker, unleashes hell on that guy.
Yeah, she completely just burns him to a crisp.
Obliterates him, and it's like a fucking giant furnace for him. He just crumbles to ash and falls on the ground. And so
he didn't even turn to ash. He just burns to the point where like he can't move anymore.
Yeah,
he hits
so
the ground because
he's just
too much heat.
So it ends up that Chloe drops the thing and she leaves the compound.
Yeah, she leaves the compound. Her little brother. At this point, we find Tibbet and Rosenfeld like holding on the line.
Yeah.
And then her little brother runs through the middle. Tibbet's like, "What the fuck, you little kid?"
Yeah. And so Tibbet comes in, or Tibbet's like, what has to stop what he's doing, stop what he's fighting Germans or Nazis. I keep on saying Germans, but I don't know if they're Germans. They're Nazis. So
he's definitely German.
Nazi Germans. So he gives them, he's just like, cover me. And the guy's like, Rosenfeld's like, huh? And then so he starts covering him. And so fucking Tibbet, this is a pretty honorable thing of Tibbet. First time in the movie that we get to see. He runs to the kid. He picks him up. Goes behind like a...
He's like, what are you doing? You had enough running around now, kid, right? Damn it.
Enough running around, okay? He grabs him. And he's all like, okay, hold on to me. And the kid's like, okay. So he held on to him. He runs away from gunfire, like in the middle of a battlefield. Throws the kid. He tries to jump over the pillar, gets the fucking shot up in his back.
Yeah, at this point, Chloe just shows up, fucking mows him down like
mows him down like they're nothing. He's like, what's up, guys? Where's my little brother?
Where's my little brother at? I just killed 5 soldiers at once with 1 spray of bullets. I'm a badass.
So she goes in, finds everybody, and he's just like...
Yeah, at this point, Boyce is like... So we
go back to Boyce and Ford.
Yeah, Boyce is basically like looking at... I guess he's like trying to figure out... where, because at this point Ford has set up all the bombs.
Yeah, Ford set up bombs.
And Boyce is like looking for something. I don't know necessarily what, but I think he was also looking for something that Ford sent him to do.
He was looking. They were, I guess, like plotting. I guess they already plotted out certain areas, or Boyce already found out the areas that he's gonna plant the charges. So Ford was setting up on the higher side, and I guess
Boyce was setting up on another side. At this point, the scientist comes out of nowhere, and the scientist comes out the back of him with the bullet, with the gun, and he puts the gun to the back of his head, and he's like,
"You're gonna ruin my life's work," or something like that.
Yeah, I think he was speaking in German. I just couldn't understand what he was saying at a certain point. But yeah, he like talks too much, and Boyce is like, "You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're facing a soldier, brother." So he grabs him. They start wrestling at it. The German scientist grabs the knife, tries to stab at him, misses.
Yeah.
Boyce just slams him to the fucking ground, and basically grabs the knife and puts it into his fucking heart, killing him.
Yeah.
And while this is going on, we find that Ford is about to put the timer on the bomb.
Yeah.
And I think actually Ford was on the bottom because he was in the lower deck when this was happening.
Something like that.
Yeah. So Ford is setting up the bomb, putting the timer, and he looks back, and fucking Waffner has shown up again.
super
hulked the fuck
super Hulk.
Fucking beast,
a
man.
Nazi Hulk.
He was so fucking beast mode.
He's just disgusting looking. That bullet wound is still on his face.
And it's crazy because Ford tries to go at him with a knife. He grabs his hand. Looks like he breaks his wrist at that point.
Yeah.
Grabs his arm, slams him, throws him at the wall.
Just so
beats the shit out of him.
Just fucking despicable what he does to him. He grabs that timer. He smashes it in half, and he was just like, "Now you're facing a god."
Yeah, I thought it was crazy. I was like, "Oh shit, this guy's the real fucking deal." So he stands up. He's like, he grabs him by the neck, slams him onto the wall. Beast starts he's just wailing on him, fucking him up. You can tell Ford don't have a chance anymore. Yeah, he grabs Ford. He looks at him. He says, "I'm gonna win."
Yeah.
And this is the second time you hear this in the movie because the first time Ford obviously said it to him. So I was like, "Fuck, this is the worst situation possible for Ford. Poor fucking guy." He grabs Ford and he picks him up. He finds like a hook, like a meat hook.
Oh fuck!
Big fucking meat hook. And he goes, "I don't have anything to tie you up."
He's like, "I don't have a rope," because he tied him up with rope. He's like, "But I'm gonna put you on this," and just puts like, I don't even know where, but
I guess in like his belly button. He just shoves that meat hook deep inside of him, hangs him, and you can just see his fucking guts just hanging onto that hook. He's bleeding out horrifically now.
Yeah.
And while he's doing that, he grabs his bronze knuckles that were attached to his knife.
Yeah.
And he just starts beating the shit out of Ford. And Ford's like bleeding out, and they're like talking shit to each other. And at this point, like, I'm like, "Fuck, Ford, you have no fucking chance."
Yeah.
So he's gonna fuck him up even more, and boy shows up out of nowhere with a big fucking gun. Boom, boom, boom. Hits him, boom, boom. And I thought this was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he just basically looks at boys and goes, I was like, "Oh shit,
There's
the
no
Hulk,
stopping him.
run, boys, you stupid son of a
And
bitch."
the boys runs.
Well, he tries to face him at first.
Oh yeah, he tries to face him.
Fucking beating of a lifetime. Horrible beating. He grabs him, he hits him, takes his gun out of his hand, beats the shit out of boys. Boys throws him. Remember he threw him to that glass?
Oh fuck, he did throw him.
Yeah, I think he kicks him like.
He threw him to the glass and he fell like on a bunch of like beakers and bottles.
Yeah.
Oh my god, imagine that happening.
Yeah, and I think at this point,
he's getting fucked up.
Yeah, he's getting fucked up. And Ford's like, "Fuck, man, I've got to do something." So he grabs that hook and he's like, "I've got to take this out." Horrible. He grabs that hook and he does everything it takes and he pulls it out of his own stomach. And he hits the ground. Boom. Hits the ground, hit face first, starts to crawl over, and he looks at boys. Boys gets fucked up.
Yeah.
And Waffner's like, "I'm a god. I'm a god. You can't stop me.
I'm a Nazi god."
Yeah, and then Ford looks at he grabs like the glass, and the glass falls, and he sees the serum, and he's like, "You gotta do." You basically just see in his eyes. He decided like, "You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes."
Yeah.
So he grabs that serum. You don't really see him put it in, but Boys is getting fucked up. He's about to finish off Boys.
Yeah.
And all you see is Ford show up, start fucking him up.
No, Ford jams a fucking
yeah,
metal pipe straight through Waffner's fucking torso, saving Boys.
I was like, "Damn, he got him." I was like, "Woo!"
Yeah, great. Movie's over.
Great. Movie's over. What a great way to win. Fuck no. Waffner was like, "Motherfucker, I'm a god." Pushes that shit out like fucking a noodle. Pops out of the back of his. He pulls it out, has it in his hand. He's like, "What the fuck?" Ford's like, "All right, motherfucker.
So
me and you."
So they get it on. They start tasseling. To be honest, Waffner did have the upper hand.
He was beating the shit out of
Ford was holding himself up.
Boys wasn't even moving at a certain point. Boys was just like, "Oh shit, I have nothing left." He's literally crawling with one arm like, "Dude, I can't fucking face this.
Yeah,
Dude just kicked me through a damn window. What the fuck do you expect me to do?"
Boys couldn't do anything.
Ford's getting fucked up too. Ford hits the ground. He's like, and then he's like, "I'm a god." Waffner's like, "I'm a god. What did you think was gonna happen?" And then he rolls like a can,
like a tank,
yeah. And he nods at Boys. Boys is like, "You're right." So he shoots at that fucking can. Waffner's like, "Oh shit!" Blows the fuck up. Waffner flies out into the fucking ditch. I'm like, They did it! They did it!
They did it.
At this point, we didn't explain this earlier though, but Waffner had opened up a lot of these ports, so a lot of these, other basically Nazi zombies were starting to come out.
Well, they were like superhumans. They're not necessarily zombies, but they're just like superhumans.
Yeah, they were superhumans, and they start walking out too, and they're like buffed up, super strong. They're gonna fuck everybody up.
And
Ford's like, yeah, don't worry, we're good. And they start walking off, and then
and he's just like, we gotta set off these chargers. We gotta set off these.
Yeah, you gotta set up the timer. So he sends boys to go forward, and at that point, Ford grabs the gate, locks himself in, turns the key, throws it away, and then he looks at Boyce. Boyce is like, "What are you doing? Open the gate. We've got to get out of here."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm not turning back. This is it." And he realized, like, and you're like, what the fuck? Why won't you do it? And he's like, this can't leave here.
Yeah.
It can't. And it was a noble thing when you think about it.
Really, yeah.
He was like, we really can't. He just can't. And I was like, damn, that's pretty rough. Like, to do something that noble. So what does he do, Renee?
He lights a charge that he stashed away in whatever pocket of his jacket. He lights a charge, and Boyce looks at him like, oh, fuck, he's serious. And he runs away. He turns around. And then at that exact moment, Waffner.
Son of a bitch.
Waffner was
the incredible, undeniable, indestructible.
Climbs up
Waffner ass.
Climbs up from that hole that was coming, covered in black, whatever.
His face is just...
Now he's completely fucked up. If you thought he was fucked up before, he is completely fucked up. And like, I don't know what's worse.
Yeah.
So he's walking up, he's climbing up, and then those super soldiers are walking his way, and then he like looks at the fucking lighter that he stole from Waffner, and he looks at him and he's just like, I don't need this anymore, and boom, blows the fuck up.
Yeah. He blows the fuck up. Waffner's like, God damn it! Blows the fuck up too. But he blows it up, and everything starts blowing up.
Yeah.
Boyce is like,
Boyce sets the charges.
Boyce is like, oh shit! He starts running the fuck out of there. I don't know how he could run. He was fucked up earlier, but he sure gained the strength to at least run away.
You do crazy shit.
You do crazy shit when you're trying to get the fuck out of there.
So, Boyce ends up setting off the charges, getting out of the place. The whole tower, their objective is complete. The whole tower just crumbles to nothing.
Yep.
Everything in that lab never gets to see the light of day.
Yep.
So, we go back to a happy end where Tibbet and Rosenfeld are chilling out.
Playing some poker
with that little kid. Tibbet's teaching that little kid how to fucking
gamble.
How to gamble because he's fucking from Brooklyn or whatever the hell.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to say.
And that's what they do.
Yeah, I guess right.
I guess so.
That's horrible.
So we see that, and
Chloe's resting pretty well,
resting pretty hard, and then Boyce goes up to his commanding officer, and his commanding officer's like, "You done? This is one hell of a job. I just gotta ask, why the fuck did you go down to the bottom to set the charges?" And he's just like, Ford thought it was a good idea, and then he's just like, God damn it, I wish Ford was here right now so I can thank him. He's like, I wish he was too. And then he's all like, alright, you're moving to Charlie Company tomorrow. And he's just like, will do, sir. So he salutes him, and then he's just like, wait, Boyce, 1 minute. If there's anything, there's been some rumors going around, but if there's anything that was in that lab, you tell me, right? Because we would need that. We would need to know that.
So we could dig it up.
So they can dig it up. And Boyce looks at him, he says, nothing out of the ordinary to me, sir. Or, I didn't see anything there, or something along those lines. And
then just rubble in there.
He's like, it's just rubble. And then he was just like, that's what I thought. And then Boyce goes along his way, and then he goes to Tibbet, and it's just like, They moved us to fucking Charlie Company. Tim was like, ain't that about a bitch?
Yeah, he's like, fuck, man. We just
like,
got the fuck out of that old shit. You would think they said it was always all, hey, the war's not over. We still got to fuck with Hitler. And they're like, yeah, you're right, bro. And they basically, that's how the movie pretty much ends, yeah.
It ends off with a beautiful...
beautiful.
A beautiful overhead shot of like the town that they were in, and then the U.S. were there.
And then apparently it's like some sort of Nos.
Oh yeah, Nos was
Bad
on
to
it.
the Bone, I think remix.
No,
Was it Bad to the Bone? I don't know.
It was a dope soundtrack. Just Nos randomly rapping over it.
Was Nas something? It was like a famous song. I just don't remember.
It was a song that I don't know, but Nas was rapping hard.
He was rapping.
I was all like, this is how you fucking
like,
include a movie. You have Nas rap over it. That's super tight.
So let me ask you this, all right? What did you overall get out of this movie?
What I overall get out of this movie, like I said, it is something that I did not expect was going to happen. I barely saw the trailer. I didn't know what to expect. I legit thought Nazi zombies. Like, okay, cool, Nazi zombies. They're gonna stumble into this place, and which is kind of true. They did stumble into the place, and they're gonna find like zombie experiments being done. Oh, there's a scientist. Oh, experiments being done. But no, it was completely fucking superhuman people that the Germans were trying to perfect. And I was like, oh fuck. And then I thought to myself, I was like, wow, this movie really did give me everything I ever wanted. It gave me World War II gun battles. It gave me fucking primitive, or how should I say, World War II era scientists. World War II era, like, I guess you could say mythology. And like German legends that apparently was going around there and then, or was happening, or experiments that was happening, and I liked it. I loved it. It was a fucking one wild time that I got to experience with.
Yeah, I would say I would take out of it was it's like really interesting. It's kind of like it kind of goes on this idea that they were trying to go for that. I don't know, like the whole movie it's really interesting because it's one of the first times I've seen in a long time where it's a movie about like a soldier who's not really willing to just kill people. If you think about it, the whole movie, he doesn't really forcefully kill anybody. He only kills somebody because his life's in danger. But he desperately, even from the worst kind of villains, he has like this sympathy. And I found that really interesting because at the end of the film, like, his friend had even turned and he would refuse to let him die.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting because at the end of the film, it kind of shows that, especially with Ford's actions, sometimes it's not about what's, like, basically doing the right thing isn't always going to be what's beneficial to you. And I think he taught Boystead at the end of the film. Like, he basically understood, like, hey, it's not about me. It's about what's best for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, at the end of the film, like, it was built up to that. Like, at this whole time, Boyce is, like, trying to do whatever it takes to help everyone out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he had to realize the best decision. I think he taught that to Ford, that the best thing for everyone was no longer what just he had to do. Ford realized, like, the best what I can do for everyone is to not come back.
Yeah.
So that's why I take it out at the end of the movie. I think it's a phenomenal film. Got as much action as I could have gotten. Some of the scenes are fantastic. I think the characters were great. So yeah, overall I really liked the movie. So yeah, I would say definitely a must watch.
Must watch.
So yeah, that was Overlord. Definitely, I would say a watch.